What is going on, YouTube? This is Tyler. Alongside with me, my brother Trevor. We're going to be talking about a little more in depth with Anaheim 1 before going into San Diego for round 2. So we're super excited with that. Um, but yeah, Trev, what do you think after watching Anaheim?
I think after watching Anaheim, one thing that I took away from it was it's going to be really hard to stop Hayden Deegan. And I'm not sure if this is the coast that's going to do it. Although, that being said, Joe Shimoda looked very good on the bike.
He
It
did.
looks like he's gotten things dialed. We're not having a Chase Sexton situation where for 3 seasons we hear, if we can just get it right, we'd be winning. Well, get it right so you can win, right? That's the goal. Feels like Joe Shimoda, who usually doesn't do good in the opening rounds, was dialed in, and Hayden hitting Ryder DeFrancisco in the back tire.
Dude.
Bad luck. Bad luck. But there's something in the Yamaha Star Racing boys that say, put me in last and I'll get back to fifth, like Michael Jordan's secret juice from Space Jam. I don't know what they're sipping. I don't know what they're sniffing on the starting line, but it's
It
cocaine.
ain't salts. It
It's
ain't salts.
it's Eli Tomac's lifeblood, like Charlie Sheen and Tiger Blood.
Oh my
If
gosh.
there's drugs in these houses, bring them to me.
Pretty much. Like, yeah, I mean, even when we saw Cole Davies, he was up there with Hayden like for a while. Deegan clipped the back wheel of Ryder D, and it happens, but I do respect that push.
Yeah. Another thing I respect about the 250 class is Beaumer. Uh,
Dude.
Listen, apparently this dude threw his leg over the bike at like 13 for the first time. I rode for a long time. The fact that he's racing at the level he is, doing that, like, don't get me wrong, I've thrown my leg over a bike. To do it at 13 for the first time and be like, I'll just go pro is crazy athleticism. And that brings me to like ask you a question. Do you think the athleticism every year is getting more intense since the era of Ricky Carmichael to now in terms of where you see the riding styles and the adaptive training?
Honestly, yes and no. I feel like I don't know because we were growing up like Ricky started like all that, and then Chad Reed, like everyone to follow James Stewart. Some of them were doing it with Alden Baker. Some people were doing it privately, like the Tomac program. But
Right.
I honestly feel like teams now are being more let's either some of them are even if they're on a team they're branching off by themselves like kind of Chase Sexton did and Joe Shimoda did, and I think Hayden Deegan does it a couple times. He still goes out for the photo shoots and all that stuff and trains with everyone, but he's mainly out with Christian Craig training. But I
Mhm.
feel like the teams now are it's like yes and no. They're all putting in that work and more. It's definitely like more um normal, I guess now. So it's not
Just
like
putting in the work all the
yeah,
time.
it's just putting in the work because everybody knows if you're not the one putting in the work, you're not going to be on top of the box and everybody else is doing it. Like if you miss one day, you're thinking about, oh my gosh, what is this person doing? What's that person doing? Okay, I got to get to work. It's the normal now. Like it's
Right.
nothing to be like, oh my gosh, can you believe this person's working harder? Like some of them aren't even posting anything, and if they do post, it looks like all the same stuff, just
Right.
different programs and how hard they're like pushing themselves and taking that rest in between.
Speaking of rest in between, we got the news of Levi Kitchen moving to the East Coast, he's taking a little siesta so that he can go up against, in my opinion, the most stacked coast in 250s
Dude,
we had in a while. We've got
yes.
Tom Vial, we've got Cameron McAdoo, we've got Austin Fortner on the Triumph. And here's the thing. I'm looking at Triumph and going, this is interesting. Jalik Swoll, I believe, is out, injured.
Yes, he's out.
They've got Jordan Smith, who how you're not being forced into a bigger class. I don't know. At this point, let's put Jordan Smith on an 85, send him to the Loretta's, and see how many championships we can get. You know
Super
what I
mini,
mean? Like
super mini.
uh,
Maybe
super
borrow.
many big
Give
wheel.
him,
We don't
give
want to
him
be
Dane
rude.
Papa's bike. All right, give it to
Give
him.
him Dame Papa's bike and then give Barsha a stock 85 and say, go get him. And I'll watch that.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I think the West Coast compared to the East Coast, like the East Coast is stacked right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Levi Kitchen's feeling good about that. I think it'll encourage them all getting faster and more stable by the time they hit the East West shootout. And it'll be interesting to see them all push each other to go after Deegan. So it's interesting stuff.
And one more thing to add to the Levi Kitchen scenario. We just found out that Ty Masterpool is going to be there at San Diego this Saturday, filling in his spot.
Yeah. We love a good switcheroo. I believe Ty Masterpool was originally going to race East Coast. When the switch happened, you know, Mitch is sitting over there doing his little plots and schemes, and he goes, "We'll put Masterpool against Deegan and see how he does." Ty Masterpool, great under pressure, great when he's got nothing. Now he's got a pro circuit, Monster Energy Kawasaki 250. I want to see how he does. Just him and Deegan and Shimoda going back and forth, and throw Julian Boomer in there. Throw it in there, and we'll see if we can spice it up. I can tell you right now, it's not going to be as good as watching hungry Austin Faulkner.
Forkner.
You Faulkner.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. So he
Cameron
keeps up.
McAdoo
He
and
keeps
all of
up with the sport.
I keep
but
up. I think it's stacked class on the East Coast. West Coast, I'm kind of seeing Hayden Deegan, even if you guys put him out in the first corner, he's still charging through most of you like it's easy.
yeah, he was
But we
looking
don't
good.
know. Injuries. Yeah, he was like Joe Shimoda was looking picture perfect though, and hopefully
No
he
mistakes.
can take that into San Diego. None.
No mistakes.
None that I
He
can
was
see.
looking so good, and I mean, we just watched like some highlights, and when everybody went in, that dude, that first corner, I don't know, it was a good first corner, but just kind of how I mean everybody approached it. It was like it was a pack of freaking warriors, dude. If you got in there, like
Yeah.
if you got pushed out, Joe Shimoda shot out like a rocket.
Yeah. And in that first corner, carved right in front of everybody. Then in the next corner,
Gone.
blocked every rut and was like,
See ya.
nobody's getting this corner before me.
No.
And I think, you know, if he can keep it up, I think it'll be a good challenge for Deegan. But if Deegan's going to ride like he's paying rent, it's going to be hard for anybody to catch him.
I think
Yeah,
that just that like little incident. Yeah, it definitely was a bummer, and he got up, you know, running around like Mike Megster doing his first backflip at X Games, but
Yeah, no visor
he
on
was
the
he
helmet.
was charging. But even in his interview, like you could tell, he after the race, like he was heated. He not that he necessarily went down and it was an accident, you know what I mean? But it because it happens. It's the sport. But you know, just imagine you're sitting there betting all week on Hayden Deegan and 450 class, which we'll get into. Like, you know, jet like in the oh man, there's so much that we got to talk about.
And this is why I like bench racing, right? This is why I like talking about this from the bench, right? Because Hayden, if you want to complain about hitting the back of somebody's tire, you better be in front of them, brother. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. If you're not in front of them, if you were in front of them, you wouldn't have the problem, right? Get a better start. We'll see you next weekend, right? Congrats on fifth. You drank the Tomac
was
lifeblood,
good.
and we're in it.
Oh yeah, that like oh man, and I can't wait to get into 450s. Even Ryder D Francisco, when even though he got clipped, like I mean nothing really happened, but with him, but
Right.
just him from where he was last year too to where he is after that first race at Anaheim, like he put on 10 to 15 pounds of muscle. He's looking a
Hmm.
lot stockier, like more fit, being able to throw that bike around, control it a lot
Right.
more, and get into those rhythms. What his program is on is obviously going in the right direction for him, which I'm excited to see what he brings to San Diego as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he turns up.
And how about
I think
Bomir?
on Bomir, he was looking good. I think there are a couple of things to work on. I think that's a lot of the 250 class right now, including Deegan and Shimoda, is like right now, it's just experience and trying to stay consistent, right? I think we find that in Supercross. You've got, the season where Tomac was absolutely crushing it all year, and then the Achilles thing happened. So it's just being consistent, being conservative where you need to be, and then really letting it hang out right when you need to and making sure that it's a clean pass because these tracks are looking a little tight this year.
So, yeah,
Uh,
that
that
track was
start, a
really tight.
hairpin turn into a Supercross triple is pretty wild to do off the start. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what the tracks are like in the weather conditions and stuff. This is the first year, if I'm not mistaken, that there's no Bay Area California date.
Yeah, which
Um,
is absolutely
a
ass.
a bummer because we're robbing ourselves of a true mudder, right? The possibility
Possibility almost
of
every
having a
year.
wild card. But I think this opener was a little bit of a wild card, and I think that's where we should possibly segue into the 450s, which was a huge wild card night for
Yeah.
some, but to Jason Anderson, all things went as planned, right? In
Oh,
his
dude.
Game of Thrones chamber with
Bro,
all of his boys going, I'm gonna hit him right into the fucking hay bale, brother.
did you see how far he came over? I like it looked, he came so far over, it looked like he started next to Jet Lawrence.
Right. Could you possibly give us a demonstration of what that looked like as he was firing off the gate?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. We have the
You know,
handlebars. Go
yeah, he
ahead.
just came in, gate dropped, he was going,
Yep.
saw the number one just straight up in the corner of the eye. Oh, I got a little bar swap and go to the left
Whoop.
side a little more, and boom!
Right
Lawrence
into the hay
brother,
bales, yards down.
Lawrence brother down. One to go. But it doesn't matter for the other one because he's in the back as well.
And that's a rough thing, right? And then we get Tomac
Oh,
showing us the way, the truth, and the life.
oh,
This
he was
man is
looking
showing
so
you
good in
how
qualifying.
he's showing you how to do it. He was the fastest dude in qualifying, and he comes around the corner, and his face said, "You know what we haven't done in a while? Tasted dirt,
Dirt sample.
front and washout,
Oh,
brutal." Now Jorge Prado, he shot off the line. This is a multiple-time MXGP champion. This is somebody who went toe-to-toe with Hurlings, right? Tomac and Hurlings also have a history. So Jorge Prado being able to fit in that space of like the challenger this year in terms of like
yeah.
we've got our American Chase Sexton, Cody, oh my gosh,
Cooper
uh,
Webb.
Cooper Webb, uh,
Okay,
to
there is a Cody Webb where we live, and
right,
I'm sure you
correct.
all know who he is. So I get mixed up
I
too.
get them
Cody Webb
confused.
is
Cooper Webb,
insane on
right?
the
And
bike.
you've got Aaron Plessinger, which I'm open to see something out of
The
him, right?
American badass.
I'm trying to see some American riders this year step up. And boy, was I so excited when I saw Tomac charging through. He's number one in
We were
qualifying.
like,
I'm like, these
yes,
Australians better pack their bags. First corner wipeout. And I'm like,
dude.
Tomac. But then he gets up and he goes, if Deegan can do it, in nomine Patris. through Christ, all things are possible. Carves through. Jet Lawrence is trying to figure out how to pass Hunter without causing a domestic at home.
Do you
And
think
Eli's just like,
Do you? But do you
brother,
think?
bye.
Do you think? I mean, he put on such a great charge from where he was of going down
Right.
right on that first lap. But it. Do you think we saw that beast mode?
I think we're seeing more beast mode as the beast gets older. Because I think he was primed for a championship. It got robbed from him. He came back, was trying to adapt with the bike. We heard in the Gypsy Tales podcast where he was talking about, you know, coming back, I wasn't feeling super stable, but this year, like
Of
I'm feeling
course,
really
yeah.
good. And we saw it. The Achilles is looking pretty good. He was on rails all night. You could say, he was the man that night. But don't count my boy Kenny Roxon. Ken Roxon.
I forgot
Speak on.
how good Kenny was, and he didn't even go into like a thought on even a wild card for me. Because I felt
Yeah.
like Chase Sexton or Hunter Lawrence were gonna be kind of my wild card, and I mean, I was on the edge of my seat that whole race. I mean, from heat to LCQ to the mains, but
Right,
he
seeing-
looked great on
And
that
and
Suzuki.
I love an LCQ where Dylan Ferrandis gets turned into Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein from Gelderland and A Knight's Tale, right? Visor
man.
down. Take your championship, my lord. No, the helmet is stuck to my head. He said, I'm going to make this pass. These guys are nothing to me. And the Privateer 200 said, not while I live and breathe. Are you seeing
Dude.
that, man?
Just punted him over
Punted him.
the berm.
He said, you're used to safety and security. All right, I'm taking it away right now. It was
I'm in
beautiful.
the
It
show,
was
baby.
beautiful.
Boom. There was, dude,
Yeah.
there was a lot of bar to bar racing. Like, I love seeing it throughout the
Right.
whole race. It brought back a lot of memories from, like, the Villapoto days, the Tyler Evan days. Like, I mean,
Right.
I don't want to always talk about, Freezy going, like, I want to see other guys, like, give us a show, man. Like, we know you
Jason
guys
Anderson
are going.
heard your prayers.
Oh,
and
man.
said,
I
"Get
mean,
it on."
we all know you guys are going for championships, and titles and records and all that stuff, but at the same time, give us a show, a sold out crowd at Anaheim 1. And what could be more perfect than being at that race that day? Like, man, it was awesome. I can't wait for San Diego.
Yeah, I'm excited. If Jorge Prado can learn how to hit the whoops, since he's like, normally in MXGP, these are rollers with 5 feet in between them. Once he figures out whoops, Jason Anderson is going to have a problem being the main guy on Kawasaki. So I think if Jorge Prado can put it together, it'll be an interesting challenge. But dude, Chase Sexton was looking
He
good.
looked
Roxon was looking
strong.
good. Tomac was looking good. If Jet Lawrence can pull it together and rid himself of the 50 plus pounds of diamond chains that he's been wearing and maybe get a little lighter on the bike and stop hitting the hay bales.
It's probably
This
what's
race
holding
had
you down,
everything,
Jet.
man.
Take it off. Just ride your dirt bike. Well, and that's the
Just
thing
ride
too.
the
Like,
bike.
but I mean, even when he was in, I was watching a little bit of the press conference and some, some footage from some of the media guys that were there, and Jet was saying he was just having issue, like his bike just wasn't like fully ready, or he was just having, some issues on the bike and he wasn't liking it or something. And I mean, regardless of that, you're Jet Lawrence. Why? I mean, where was the charge? Where was the effort to kind of get to the? I mean, even when he caught up to Hunter, like he just played that same kind of game. Like, I'm behind my older brother. Like, I'm in this position. The night didn't go well for me. I'm gonna let him have even 11th. He couldn't
which
even
which is
pass him.
which is odd because at the start round you're trying to get yourself as far ahead in points as you can to keep up that consistency. So not seeing the drive when Tomac was behind him going, all right, dude, I'm getting on rails.
Exactly.
It's going to hurt you in the long run. It's going to hurt you in the long run.
He's
Um,
down
to,
points. He's got a lot to make up coming into the second
and,
round. And will we see it?
and I don't know, but as a Jet Lawrence fan, right, I'm hoping that he can pull something together because I'd love to see him and Tomac going head to head with Chase Sexton in the mix. And if Jason Anderson can weasel his way in there and cause some mayhem, I think it'll be interesting. But uh, I think we're going to see a lot of interesting battles coming up into San Diego. And hopefully, we see two Australian brothers wanting to prove that A1 was just a fluke incident. Like Chase is ready, Tomac's ready, Kenny is ready. So it's going to be interesting. And by God, if Jorge Prado can figure out those whoops, it's over for you bitches. It's over.
I feel like Prado, like he had a great shot. Like, he had the whole shot, was looking, I mean, really good. But I already had a feeling, especially before, the race even began. Like he even said, like I'm here just to enjoy it. But like as a racer being competitive, like you wanna go out there and like see how well you can do with the skill talent that you
Mm-hmm.
have, even if you're just out there to enjoy it. But I knew he would not necessarily get gassed towards like
Mm-hmm.
the middle of the race, but you did see him slowly graduating like down, and
Right.
it hurts to see, but like you said, like he's got to master those whoops, get used to them, get used to the supercross, the rhythm, maybe even get more into conditioning
Mm-hmm.
for lasting at the top of those. And that's just going to come in time. And I bet I'm saying the fifth round, I think we're going to see a whole different Prado.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's given Prado the grace of understanding that, last year was his first little taste of Supercross and it was only
Mm-hmm.
for a little bit.
Yep.
And now he's here doing this full time. So I think it is going to be interesting. I think, Eli Tomac talked about it on the Gypsy Tales podcast about those races you have where everything clicks. And he goes, bro, you're on rails and you feel like you're going slow. You're not even getting arm pump because you're just flowing with the track.
Yep.
If Jorge Prado can click into that mode, I think it'll be interesting. But you have to remember that some of these guys have years and years of experience doing this, and they know how to lock into that flow.
What do you think of Justin Hill, the old dog, the Oregonian? I think he was ripping. I know he took eighth, but dude, I
It's
have
better than 12th, brother.
bro. Hey,
It's better than 12th. I think my pick for, are we doing picks for
yeah,
250
we'll
and
do
then for
250 and
450?
then 450.
I think my pick for 250 is going to be, I think Hayden's going to possibly take it. I think second is probably going to be Omer, and third is probably going to be Shimoda. Uh, that's what I'm predicting for next week. Um, but again, it's so hard to predict these things because injuries during practice can happen. All these different variables can happen. But
So many
that's why I
things.
think the top three is going to be for 250s. For 450s, I'm going to go interesting here. I think I'm going to go Tomac number one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Jet in third. And I think second will be Chase Sexton. I think that's what I'm hoping for. I'm really rooting for Tomac this year. I think if anybody deserves it, if he can get a championship and go, hey, it's
For
been
his
great.
last year, maybe.
That's it. I'm gonna do outdoors one last time, and then I'm good. I'll be happy with that. But riding for Tomac this year. I'm been a Jet fan. I hope he figures it out. If he can get another championship, he'll put his name up in the name of greats. But God, I want to see Tomac up there in the name of greats even more than he already is.
Even for my 450 class, it would probably be literally the same order. Um, yeah, I think Eli is going to take it. I think Chase is definitely going to take second. At least I'm thinking. And third place,
My wild card is Kenny.
third place, I don't. I want to see Kenny up there, but I'm giving my one of my underdogs for San Diego the benefit of doubt here. Like I think it's going to be Cooper Webb.
Mm.
That's just going to
Cooper
be.
Webb's consistent.
He's consistent. He's there, and I think with a lot of the big names that are going to be up front battling, we don't know what's going to happen in that, but Cooper is always there and he takes full advantage of it. So I think those are going to be my top three for 450s. 250s, I definitely think Hayden is going to take it. I know I said it for this one, and,
Mm-hmm.
the outcome was totally different. But I think Hayden is going to bring that energy, especially after that race, and take the podium. Then I also think it will be either Bo Mir or Joe Shimoda. So I mean I definitely agree with those three there. And even if there is a wild card, um, I do feel like I mean Smith was thrown down pretty good, but I think he would be my wild card
I
for
think it's a
the
good
top
wild
three.
card to pick. I think it's a good wild card.
That's
I
what I'm
think it's
thinking.
good.
But we're gonna wrap
Wow.
it up, and we will see you after San Diego.